Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says a growing number of older workers are looking for jobs, but even though they've got decades of experience, they really might face a challenge getting a job at a new company, maybe even discrimination. Today, Randy Wooden's here talking about ways to overcome that. He's with the Goodwill Professional Center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So this is something that everybody fears when they get vacant. How real is the problem?
Well, yeah, and I think back generations ago or decades ago when I was a young worker, and I probably had those same views of that older worker. And so we'll talk about some of the, I guess, the biases that exist, and also some things that as an older worker I can now do to hopefully not just generate the interview, but land the job when I get the interview.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with the resume.
Okay.
Lots of stuff we could cover, but a couple, 3-4 points that you want to make sure that if you have an email address on your resume, and you ought to, it ought not be an AOL address, because that tells me you've had it for 25 years. And so maybe go with
easy to get a Gmail or something like that.
And it's free, so do that.
Okay.
Again, folks, my age may still have a home phone number. Most times it's a good idea to leave that off your resume. Just list one number, and you don't have to call it your cell phone. Just put a phone number on there.
Right.
It's self-evident. There are a few other things. I mean, everything from leaving off the objective, the word objective, and references upon request, and some of those things that were in vogue maybe 30 years ago. You might even change the font and get away from Times New Roman. Arial,
which is the standard one that tends to come up.
It is. It's traditional, and that's what we used to use. I used to use it for years and years with clients. So those are some things to be aware of. But the big animal in the room is dates. Yeah.
Now, how do you get past that? You want to be honest in what you're putting out there, but you're saying leave the dates off.
You do, and certainly dates of education you can leave off. The tricky part is how far back do you go with your experience? And if you said 10 to 15 years, that's probably a good rule of thumb, unless you're vying for a senior management position. Then you've got to show enough track record to warrant consideration. But now you've got the interview.
Okay.
All right, so here's some biases that exist, and there are tons of them, but I'll try to remember a couple, 3, 4 today, and guide me if I miss one. One is technology.
Yeah.
I think I used to work in radio. We used a grease pencil and a razor blade and spliced tape together.
And you talk about, you know, kids who are 9 years old can program a computer, and you know, somebody older can't. So that's a real concern.
Be prepared to talk about how you've become a lifelong learner, so that you are up to date, take a course or whatever, so that technology is not your stumbling block. Another one, though, is the culture fit. Hey, this old guy, is he going to fit in with these younger workers, kind of a thing? And that can be a challenge. So that's where you might mention that diversity is more than just gender and race, it's also age, and that you can talk about how you have worked within multi-generational and also multicultural companies and organizations, and also how you've mentored some of the younger folks.
Talk about being intimidated. What do you mean by who's intimidating here?
Well, you may work for a younger boss at some point, and they thought you'll take their job, so that's a real fear. And quite frankly, if that's the case, you're not going to get the job anyway. But on the other hand, they'll say, hey, look, you know, this older worker is taking a step back. They're undervaluing themselves dollar-wise, and they won't stick around.
Right.
The reality is, though, across all generations, the time at a company is no longer that 40 years like it was when we were coming out of college. So you're going to have that churn in the marketplace, and so it's imperative that you hire somebody who can hit the ground running. I don't have the same childcare issues. I know what it's like to work hard, the work ethic, and I can mentor those younger folks. So that's a challenge, and some of these you can never fully overcome. One of them is the concern about health cost.
Right.
Hey, older workers going to cost more. You can talk about your hobbies and how you're athletic, but part of this, and I hate to say it, is how you look. And if you're dressed appropriately, you're enthusiastic, firm handshake, you exude vitality and youth and enthusiasm, that's a subjective thing, but it can go a long way. It really can.
Okay, Randy, thanks very much. Great and timely stuff, too. If you need to get in touch with Randy, you can do that by contacting the Goodwill Professional Center, their webpage, goodwillprofessionalcenter.org, or send him an email through his web, through their site there, Goodwill at ProCenter@goodwillnwnc.org, or give them a call, 336-464-0516.